Welcome to Call to the Land. I'm Rob Havard, and today on the podcast we've got Geraint Powell. Hello, mate.
Afternoon, Rob.
How you doing?
Very well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming over. How's the grass growing, mate?
We've had a very nice summer for swimming in the river,
Yeah,
but the grass has been a little bit crispy.
yeah, you're probably a bit more than us.
I think we're, yeah. I suppose we can call it a drought, can we, or not? I don't know. It seems.
It always. I
summer,
don't know if we can even in the UK. It always feels a bit wrong.
Yeah.
To call it, a drought when
Yeah.
there's people who go in like 6 months without a drop.
3 years.
Yeah.
So we went a few months, didn't we? And it was dry.
Yeah.
We had a summer. We got through it all right.
Yeah.
Sold everything a bit earlier. Sold a bit more.
Yeah.
Our hay crops are probably about 60% of what they usually are on an average year.
Yeah, I reckon some of ours were around 40% even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be expected, though.
Yeah, it's going to happen now and again.
Yeah. So a blend of sell animals earlier, sell a few more.
Yeah.
Bought a little bit of hay. Managed to buy a little bit of hay in April before it got dry.
Yeah.
So that was in the shed. And we've had... We're getting lucky with these growy autumns, aren't we?
It's been really good, hasn't it, since September, really?
But how many autumns has that been?
Yeah. Well, it's you don't need much rain in the autumn, do you?
No.
Just a little drop and everything starts. It doesn't evaporate. So.
But we haven't had frosts, have we? Autumn
No.
frosts. We haven't had late autumn snow for a long time, I think.
Well,
Last time I can remember autumn snow, and I might be completely wrong, 2018? We had a dust and a snow in November.
Yeah, maybe even October.
Yeah.
But I think what we seem to be getting is like, I think this probably goes into what we'll talk about today a little bit, is that it's so variable because we've had 3 really wet summers, and then this summer everyone's short of grass.
Yeah.
And it's just having that resilience, but then it's also the wet summers have saved some people, but then it's been wet going into winter. They've housed early, but when it's dry and there's people, I mean, everybody was feeding sheep and cattle around here through the summer, and it's having the resilience of that, and that's of the system, so that you're not having to spend a fortune when the weather goes wrong.
Yeah.
And like that kind of fits into your story a bit in terms of. But it'd be good to get into that, like where you came from, where you started, because you've been thousands of sheep, sort of more regenerative or low input organic systems, and just roundabout. So just in terms of background, like where you started from.
Okay, so brought up on the family farm near Brecon.
Yeah.
And then went to Aberystwyth to do agriculture.
Yeah.
Left there, went to New Zealand for a bit.
Yeah.
Came back from New Zealand, went to Devon. So I was shepherding on a place down in Devon in the Tamar Valley for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
That was great fun. Really good fun.
Yeah.
Good. Met some amazing people down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then moved to the Cotswolds in 1999.
Okay.
Yeah. And at first... 25
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1999 moved to the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
For the first 4 years, I think it was, I was working on an estate looking after a herd of North Devon cows and crossbred sheep.
Yeah.
I was on a large mixed estate. That was, it was converted to organic, and then we came out of organic.
Yeah.
For the last couple of years I was there for various reasons. And then in 2004 I snuck off to Australia for a few months, and when I came back then I went and helped Toby Baxter.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. That's when the madness started. Yeah. So if you think
What was the madness?
I don't know. We were young and bulletproof, innit?
Running round, farming tarmac.
Yeah. It was all of that.
So a lot of sites across the Cotswolds.
There was several landowners. So we started off. It was 2004, I think.
Yeah.
When I first went to help Toby out, lambed his ewes in the spring.
Yeah.
Toby's off busy doing other contractor things.
Yeah.
And then Toby said, I think I might get a chance of a bit more grass. Anyway, that a little bit more grass turned into about another 2,000 or 3,000 acres over time. But what helped us get our start then, and timing's everything, isn't it? It was post foot and mouth.
Yeah.
And do you remember when arable reversion payments came in?
Yeah, there's a lot of people did that, didn't they?
Now was that stewardship or was that ESA back then?
Cotswolds would have been. Well, I think ESA ran up to 2005-06, I think, and then it was into the old stewardship, countryside stewardship then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were quite lucky, but obviously you've got to spot the opportunity as well, in that the estates after foot and mouth destocked.
Yeah.
Rented the houses out that the livestock staff were in.
Yeah.
And looked for the likes of us to
someone else to manage the land.
Manage the land, yeah.
On grazing licenses or
all on 12-month grazing agreements.
Yeah.
There was no long-term tenure.
No tenure. Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because you're not tied in for a long time, but when you're trying to grow a business, you need to have a certain amount.
There's a bit of risk there, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's not so bad with the sheep, maybe, but yeah.
No, sheep, of course, you can be quite quick in and quite quick out. But we were very lucky in that we grew it, and apart from odd little bits, we never lost large bits of land.
Yeah.
And again, policy played in our favour in that we were just there we were almost squatting on the land while the landowners claimed what they could. We claimed no payments, no subsidies.
You just had to make the sheep work.
I just had to make the sheep work. Yeah.
And
and I say we weren't subsidised, but you can be subsidised in different ways, can't you? In that the rents were cheap
because the landlords are getting money from elsewhere.
I was looking at some paperwork the other day, and I could buy a truck for 10 grand.
Yeah.
Litre of diesel is 88.3 pence a litre.
You sound like my dad now.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes to us all.
Yeah.
And a fat lamb was like 48, 50 quid.
Yeah.
We could grow an acre of turnips for about 32 quid. And that was just blown into the standing crop.
Right.
And then a little bit of fertiliser and slug pellets as and when it was needed. It wasn't,
So that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was.
And then where are land prices now?
I suppose you'd be looking at sort of 130, 150.
Yeah. But then your truck's 35, 40 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The litre of diesel's 143.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything's gone past it.
Yeah.
And even though prices are very good at the moment, to me, I feel it's quite frightening when you hear a farmer say, well, they need to be that much.
I hear that a lot at the moment, especially with the cattle.
Yeah.
It's always, the price is good, but they need to be, don't they?
Yeah.
And I think I was saying to you earlier, there's, lad messaging me, always trying to sort of convince himself he's right, which is fine. And his system's working now, but he was saying exactly that. They need to be where they are because the costs are so high. And it's like, well, your system now and my system, our costs haven't changed much the last 5 years.
No.
Because there's nothing to go up.
No.
I spend a bit of time on the road, but fuel prices actually are kind of where they've been for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So did that for. So I was on the Cotswolds for 20 years, and Toby, I was looking after the livestock. And
how many ewes were you up to?
I think it was like 2,500, 3,000.
Yeah.
There was a couple hundred cattle in the mix then, and I was fencing as well.
Yeah.
But the other thing we were subsidised was good people working with us.
Yeah.
that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, people who are there they realise what needs to be done and it gets done.
That's
But
the
we worked
thing.
hard. We played hard as well, mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good time.
yeah,
It's sort of, I liked it because it was a bit rogue as well.
yeah,
It was a little bit feral,
yeah.
which ain't bad, is it? You know, you can sort of,
It's that thing, isn't it? Like people, like there's a lot of corporate money trying to buy farmland,
yeah,
trying to get into agriculture, and it seems to me there's a lot of corporate interest. Basically, the corporate vampire organisations like BlackRock and whoever, basically it's just business to them. They've run out of things to buy, to own. They need to own capital to get a return on it, and they've already bought all of this stuff. I think I saw they're trying to buy like all the residential housing stock
yeah,
of America. I think they've already got like 25% of all the residential housing stock in America. They're trying over here now. I think farmland's where they want to go next because it's
Yeah.
just another asset class.
yeah,
And like people are like, there's this grand conspiracy. It's not a grand conspiracy. It's just that's the business model of these giant corporations is they just need to own more shit so they can get a return. But I don't know if you put, well, I do know, but if you put a farming business into a corporate environment where you just have to fix stuff, where stuff just has to get done, I'm not sure health and safety, employment clauses, like all of that's really important, but you know how much more you can do on...
Don't work on a clipboard.
It doesn't work on a clipboard.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And that's what feeds people at the end of the day.
It is, yeah. Is that certain amount of risk?
And someone's willing to stay up all night when the water's not working or...
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, yeah. That's true. But then the conspiracy theory about a land grab, well, it's only grabbed if it's sold, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not living in Zimbabwe, are we?
No, we're not forced to sell.
No.
Well, unless the government was to like put a tax on all the farmland, maybe. But
Yeah.
some people are going to be forced to sell, you know, with the inheritance tax. You know, that's the thing, isn't it?
A certain percentage, though, isn't it?
I suppose so.
To pay the tax bill.
Yeah, and it should take out the bigger landowners, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Yeah. So lots of livestock.
Lots of really good fun. Built a good business, good people, and then past Nuffield scholar said, "Oh, you should apply for a Nuffield," and I said, "What's that?" And he explained it to me, and I thought, "Oh, sounds like fun."
Yeah.
So I applied for a Nuffield scholarship in 2016, and we were just too busy, so I pulled the application that year.
Yeah.
And the year after, I resubmitted. Someone else gave me the title. That was eloquent enough, I think, to get to a interview stage. And it was funny because I can remember I was sorting news in the morning. I had to be in London in the afternoon, and I was sort of feeling quite laid back about it. And anyway, so I sort of raced around, got on the train, got to London. It was all very, from that sort of news in the morning to,
Yeah.
can't remember, it was the accountancy firm's offices in London.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite stuffy and
Fancy place.
Yeah, probably tight, over one side,
Yeah.
looking a dishevelled mess. And everyone else in the room was really nervous.
Yeah.
And I didn't really feel that nervous because to me it was, well, you have a go, and if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't.
And if you're that busy, it's probably a rest.
Yeah, well, that's the funny
Sit on
thing.
the train for a couple of hours.
Yeah, so I did, because everyone said that the Nuffield interview can be the most stressful 20 minutes of your life. To me, I quite enjoyed it, but maybe it said a lot about what else we were doing in the rest of your life, in that, if you find that relaxing.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I managed to get through and I got the Nuffield.
Yeah.
So that was about sort of the balance between grazing and ecology and
Yeah.
all that.
Well, that's how we met as well.
Yeah, that's it.
You pitched up here with Rob Richmond, who's after a bull.
That's it.
For his dairy herd.
Yeah.
And then we sort of had
kept
a chat,
in touch.
look at the cattle, and and then we've talked cattle, sheep, and rugby ever since.
That's it. And then I came back and interviewed you then for the Nuffield after.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I did that, And then came to the end of that, and then before I left to do the first part of travelling in Nuffield, it was all lined up that I was taking the back seat and the younger lads were going to take it on. It was all discussed. It was quite a smooth transition. And then I finished up and I was thinking, I wonder what this sort of 2-year process, and that 18 months, whatever I was going through. I was still working flat out at the time, but still sort of like, right, I am taking more of a back seat. The other lads are getting on with it, and then sort of in time I'll be out of it type of thing, which I was comfortable with that. This decision was made, but in the end it's like, oh, what shall I do? Anyway, and then the opportunity came up to move to get my my Welsh passport renewed. And move back just over the border back into Wales and manage a farm in the Wye Valley. So we sort of went back and forth with that for a few months. Anyway, we ended up moving there in April 2019.
Is it that long ago?
It is.
Yeah, gosh, I remember you going there,
Yeah. Got quick, didn't it?
Yeah.
So then, really good owners of the farm. It really helps when your goals are aligned. And from the start, everyone knows what the goals are. And it's really enjoying it. Sort of growing the cows. The ewes will probably stick at a number they are now and maybe come down a bit as the cattle increase. Been trying to increase the cow numbers quite a bit, but the weather won't let me. And I'm not prepared to start throwing money at something just to make it bigger. The cattle numbers will fluctuate a bit as to what the weather does. And it's when before we had a season where the grass hasn't grown that well, but prices have been so high. So actually to destock in a drought has not been a difficult decision, has it?
No, absolutely. And it is always that difficulty, isn't it? And if you're trying to do a lot at once, so if you're trying to grow the herd, it's quite hard to cull on problems at the same time. If you're going to be strict.
But I did it this year.
You did. Well, exactly. So it gave you that opportunity.
Because even though I have kept a few problem cows. But they weren't that much of a problem that they weren't dropping a calf easily. That was saleable. So they might have been a bit waspy, or they might have had one tick gone, or but they were still getting on and dropping a calf. But as soon as the time came where something else was there to replace them, then they go.
Cow market is what it is.
So that's not. That's not. So the farm is permanent grass. It's all permanent grass. We're embracing the perennial. We're not choosing to reseed. We're farming. Is the trendy word regeneratively now?
Well, I was just talking to Ollie about this. He hates the word regenerative.
I'm not a big fan of it.
No, and I'm similar. I mean, it's like go back. I mean, early on with Pasture for Life, and it was basically grass-fed and organic coming together. And so it was organic farming, essentially. And all this sort of multi-mixes, herbal lays, all of this stuff is from like 60 years ago, organic farming. It's not like this is new, concentrate on the soil. That's organic farming. So it gets ticks and likes and whatever else, but it's
a trendy word.
Go with it.
Go with it. I don't tend to use that. I think for me it's about you got to stay sane and you got to stay solvent, haven't you? Risk. Managing the risk. Whereas I think probably there's an associated benefit to ecology of staying sane, staying solvent, and managing risk. And that I wouldn't say I farm regeneratively because I can't. There's no ecological verification there to say that anything's regenerated. I can observe it, I can see it, that's important to me because if I can see it and I can explain it, then I can show it to someone else. Which means a lot more than maybe a report written by an ecologist that
No
one's
goes
ever
on a
gonna
shelf.
read. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose the whole this regenerative journey, whatever that is, we can chat about that as well as to
Yeah.
how far you can get in a space of time. But that also really comes back to, I think, the legacy of the land before.
Yeah.
I think you can't underestimate that.
No, we've taken on ground where after 18 months it's perfect for what we want to do.
Yeah.
For outwinter, we've got the right species there, in the right composition in the sward, root in depth, big tussocks, tall fescue, cocksfoot. 12 months, 18 months we're there.
Yeah.
I've got places where I've been on for 10 years and we're struggling to get it to change without intervention. And so now we've just, on one of the blocks, we've just put 200 acres we've just direct drilled a whole load of deep root grasses in.
Yeah.
So they weren't coming on their own.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, I guess we're lucky in some ways of having so many different landlords and having taken on lots of bits of ground for other people. We've farmed on most kinds of ground.
Yeah.
Ex-arable that's had the seed bank completely denuded, you name it. But what that gives us is experience on lots of different soil types, lots of different situations. And I think just what you said, some places you can go in straight away. And if you've always found the same piece of land and you converted and it all went perfect, you can think that it will.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's horses for courses. You just got to look at it. And I'm 47. If it's going to take me 20, 30 years to do it naturally without putting any seed on, I don't want to wait that long.
No.
And actually, because the soil structure and the species have an impact on whether you make money or not.
Yeah.
So you can't wait 20 years to make money. And if you can't afford to do that amendment, then what are we doing anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've chosen not to.
Yeah, but it's coming there.
No, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming slowly.
Yeah.
And it will in time. And I've noticed that. And I think we've got to be wary of this in policy as well, is that outcomes change when management doesn't.
Yeah.
And the biggest effect on that is probably playful weather.
Yeah.
Where I've had a few wet winters where I had cattle out. Maybe they shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
I've
been there.
Because bale grazing is great. It's a cheap way of keeping cows.
Yeah.
But you've got to have the right soil, you've got to have the right grass species, you've got to have the right cattle, and the weather's got to be kind.
Yeah.
If you can get all those four things together, it's great.
Yeah. And you can probably cope with the weather if you've got the other three things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have been out wintering cattle for a long time. The cattle do love it.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. The cattle, they don't mind.
No, they almost take a check when they come inside, don't they?
Yeah, they look quite depressed when they do come indoors.
And when they first go back out again.
But I'm not sure it's ever so good for the ground.
No.
Every day. Whereas it can be brilliant for one day.
Yeah.
And not so great the next.
Yeah, and it kind of depends.
On conditions.
Yeah, and it does depend, but where. And that is right. I think probably if you're talking about the first 5 to 10 years of converting the ground to be ready for it, I've definitely pushed it too early, too hard, like you said, and I've made a lot of mess.
Yeah.
But you can put that right pretty quick.
Yeah.
And by resting ground in winter, but once you get it where you want it, I find I can take heavy clay land if I've got the right grass species, dense tussocks, real good thatch, I almost can't poach it.
Yeah.
And then that's regardless of the weather.
Yeah, I got a few bits like that too.
And that's when you get to that and you see the potential of that kind of ground, that's where if the whole farm's like this, it'd be serious money because it'd be cheap wintering, cheap as you can get.
Yeah.
And then you're going to grow grass in the spring quick because they're cold season grasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say, because that's quite a change of mindset from your 2,000 to 3,000 ewes, run pretty hard?
No, very extensive.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was all permanent grass, and we usually plant between 800 and maybe 1,200 acres of forage crops within the arable rotation within the business as well.
Right. Okay.
For the sheep in the winter.
Yeah.
And the two things were the arable and the sheep. and the cattle worked really well together. So it was, yeah, we never housed anything, we never fed anything.
Okay.
So it was
on sort of Cotswold brashy soils that could stand
soils,
it.
Yeah. And you know those alkaline soils are amazing.
Yeah.
You can throw any seed in them and it grows.
Yeah.
Very different to when you go further west into acid soils.
Yeah.
You have to choose your grasses very carefully there.
Yeah. That's
you could probably see the same from Kemerton back to here.
Yeah. I mean,
you see those verges of Kemerton.
Yeah.
Like they're alive with all sorts of species, aren't they?
Definitely. There's more diversity on the alkaline.
Yeah. Way more.
You can get your base grasses, but you struggle with other stuff.
Yeah, with the delicates especially.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So we've been there now since 2019. It's all going very, very well. As I say, it's just finding that balance at the moment between getting the animal numbers sort of right, what that stocking rate, what the optimum is.
Yeah.
I think it's an ever-moving target.
Yeah.
I think when trade is good, you cash in.
Yeah.
When trading quite so good,
give the ground a rest.
Yeah. Try and rest it, but also you've got to keep the land happy, but you've got to keep the bank manager happy as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Well,
it's quite.
There's something to be said for that with the market as well, isn't there? I do think like people might struggle, say, to carve at 2.
Yeah.
We've transitioned to that, and we're still in that transition process. 90 odd% of ours will carve at 2, and we're just slowly, that'll be 100% soon.
Do you want 100?
I think so. I think I'll get to this year, for example, we had 85% of the heifers in calf.
Yeah.
75% of them were first cycle at 2 to carve at 2.
Yeah.
So that's enough heifers coming in.
Yeah.
So and then that puts a test on them. So we're in the process. I've still got a couple of cows left that calved at 3 that have been good cows.
Yeah.
But out of 120 cows, there's not, we haven't got too many. Now everything coming into the herd is just that calves at 2.
Yeah.
And once you're into that process. But what I was going to say is when the market's down, if you're calving at 3, if you can buy an in-calf heifer cheaper, you're not going to keep it to calve at 3. It's going to be a lot cheaper to buy it in.
Yeah.
Because then you can run more cows.
Yeah.
So the opportunity cost as well. So just using the market to your advantage.
So rightly or wrongly, I didn't bull any yearling heifers this year.
Okay.
Because we were quite short on food.
Yeah.
And I thought, if we do go into the winter, say if we had 6 weeks of snow, and I rattle through my hay too quick, I need a class of cattle that can do it really hard.
Yeah. And
I
those
thought,
first calvers are.
And I thought, I can't do them hard they can't work hard if they're in calf.
Yeah.
So this year I just thought, right, I'm not bulling them.
Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly.
Yeah.
We'll find out, won't we, how they do.
Yeah.
As they get older.
Yeah.
And you could say
they might last longer.
Well, who knows, isn't it?
Yeah.
They might work out. They might work out the same thing at the end.
Yeah.
Just by doing it a year longer. But cash flow wise, I probably could do with them dropping calves next year.
Yeah.
But I took the decision to say no. I'm going to have to. If someone's going to have to be a little bit roughed off in the winter, if food is short, then it'll be that class.
Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, time will tell. I'll see.
Yeah, that's it. But you make a decision on the year.
Make a decision, yeah.
But I think that does lead into a point. Something we end up talking about quite a lot is that with the whole regen thing.
Yeah.
And where there is an element of it with certain folk who promote it, where it kind of all bullshit and rainbows. You never have a problem if you just love the soil will love you back, and we'll all be dancing around happy with complete abundance. But like this is a pretty challenging transition.
Yeah.
It doesn't always go right. It's probably like if you've got if you can just go and buy a solution, which you can't really do in regenerative agriculture on the whole, you can do in conventional farming. You can plough up and start again.
Yeah.
You can buy, you can use fertilizer. You can get
reach for the shelf.
Reach for the shelf.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. It's like to me, it's a harder proposition. I mean, what do you think?
I think there's never before has this been so many silver bullets fired at farming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is they're aimed at us from all directions.
Yeah.
I think this regenerative movement is a little bit of, it's probably, pennies from heaven for the consultants.
Yeah.
It's another narrative to sell to government, then comes into policy, which keeps them in work.
Yeah.
Recycling that information constantly because,
yeah.
We've been, how many times have we heard Gabe Brown's first speech from 15 years ago about the 5 rules of regenerative farming, and it's still getting wheeled out, isn't it? Well, come on, we should be way past that.
Yeah. No, it's not really moved on, has it?
No, but also if you want to be resilient, you've got to be adaptive as well, haven't you?
100%. But that takes experience and knowledge.
But you can't be staunch.
No.
And you can't be drawn into something that almost becomes like a religion in that you can't do this, you can't do that. Yeah. You can do anything if it means you stay sane and you stay solvent.
Yeah.
But you've got to be a little bit careful that, I'm using that within reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I always think to myself, you've got your holistic management framework board up there, right?
Yeah.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm not disciplined enough.
Yeah.
The whole of my life, I've been really instinctive in what I do. And I struggle with rules.
Well, I find
and we've chatted about this a lot.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
But the way I've tried to make it work is, well, for a start, Lizzie is systems minded.
Yeah.
So that helps to have a check on you.
Good mix.
Yeah, good mix. I think the other side of it is because I've gone back to it so much, and then because I've taught it, and when you teach it, you really have to know it. And then I do find my instincts now pick up that.
Yeah.
But you have to almost get it embedded into your subconscious. That sounds a bit like woolly. But if I didn't have to go really deep on it when I was doing that, I mean, I don't do any training anymore, but it keeps coming back to me.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'd say is like probably similar in that kind of ADHD brain.
Yeah.
Where it's like whatever's in your head you do. But that, I think people like that instinctively somehow you keep it in your head while you're doing something.
Yeah.
And that is basically holistic
I think
management.
as well, we want to say, no, it's not all about that. It's because of the decisions I make.
Yeah, because I think good decision makers.
I think it's about how it's probably about how you're brought up as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that, like, my grandfather was a tenant.
Yeah.
And then my dad bought a farm when he was young.
Yeah.
So my grandfather farmed through the war. My dad bought the farm just as we saw superinflation in the country. So he farmed through high interest rates, which must have been fairly challenging.
Yeah, yeah.
I can remember my dad treated himself to his first 4-wheel drive tractor about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've never.
He's earned that.
Yeah, but the farm was never. It was well run. It was tidy, but it wasn't about shiny paint, and it was about good animals, good ground. Yeah, and there was an old 2-wheel drive tractor sat in the corner. Yeah,
and it's making those decisions based on, quite often it's what's climbing into you, the crocodile climbing into your canoe today.
Yeah,
and that's what kind of ADHD is quite good for, because you just forget all the other shit.
Yeah.
Like, I plan to do this. Well, who gives a shit what you plan to do? Like, we need to do this now.
I love problem solving.
Yeah.
I don't like problems.
No.
But I love problem solving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit, I suppose, I was brought up with that discipline, like from my dad. And then, whether it was a discipline or not, but that's just how it was.
Yeah, yeah.
And now, I guess, when I am making decisions, it probably does come back to the holistic mind thing, but we're Northern European industrial linear brains, aren't we?
Probably, yeah.
Can we think that holistically? Different to maybe a farmer in India?
Well, different cultures do different things, don't they? And I remember talking to, happened to be on a course, it was actually a salami making course with some Jewish people, and having a conversation with them, like we're quite statement focused.
Yeah.
So we'll make a statement.
Yeah.
Nearly their whole conversation from their culture was asking questions.
Yeah.
And they're leading you with a question to their opinion.
Yeah.
And then and that openness is actually quite good, because then it forces you to not, as soon as you make a statement, you subconsciously you've doubled down on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we as an industry that linear thinking can kind of keep us quite constrained and not as open.
Yeah, you're right. And I think for me, it's like when I'm decision making, the three things I'm thinking about is an earthworm all right with this?
Okay.
Who really benefits for the money I'm spending?
Yeah.
And what is the village going to think about what I've done?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of social.
Would the village be different? Because there's something here as well about caring a lot about what farming neighbours think.
Oh, it's not, no.
But that's different to the village.
Yeah. That's what. I'm thinking, what does the taxpayer think about this?
Okay.
Not what the neighbouring farm thinks about this, because I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
In my whole farming career, I've never had to worry about peer pressure or the emotional thing about, family farm next door neighbours, because I've always been off doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty rogue most of the time as well.
Yeah.
So I just haven't worried about it.
No, but a lot of people do.
And I get
if
that.
It doesn't look tidy,
I really get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the three. And the other thing, I always think is, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think probably as well, I agree with that. I think that one of the biggest things about holistic management for me is that comes out in a small part in the teaching, but it's about income generating expenses compared to just basically it's just a sink in costs.
Yeah.
It doesn't generate any income.
Or correctional costs.
It just costs you money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so whereas some of that kind of caring what the neighbour thinks, certainly one of my granddads would fix a fence to look perfect, maybe even before buying another cow. But the focus on the cow is a productive asset that you're buying. When you fix something, or you get a shinier tractor, or those kinds of purchase decisions we can get pulled into, that's not generating any money. And if you didn't spend that and you spent it on some marketing or whatever you want to do that's going to generate income, you're going to have more money. So then you can fix your fence with the more money that's coming in every year because of the income generating expense. That multiplies over time.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference to a business. And it's something, because we've been reliant on subsidies, we don't look at that income generation as much, I think.
So that as well, is that what an industry does to reward themselves if they don't feel appreciated? Buy themselves a toy.
Buy themselves a toy, yeah. Because they get the self-esteem.
You could say that at the moment
Yeah.
that agriculture is suffering from the worst case of Stockholm syndrome ever, couldn't you? You know, that when they become infatuated by the captors.
Yeah.
The salesman, the parasites, all the rest of it.
Yeah, so they're basically, exactly. Yeah.
And then that comes on to being addicted to the activity of farming, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's something you've said to me for a long time, which I think comes into caring what the neighbours think.
Yeah.
So harrow and roll in everything, so you've got nice stripy fields, you know, and the activity, the cost of that diesel and the wear and tear of the machinery and the time.
Yeah.
in terms of like return on that time. Like if our time is valuable,
Yeah.
and we want, we're busy. Everyone's busy. We've all got families we want to spend time with. But yeah, being addicted to the activity of farming. You've said that to me probably since I first met you.
Yeah.
And
that addiction to the activity of farming, how relative is that to food production?
yeah, or your profit. But you could, for some people, if that's what makes you happy, then maybe now, if we're not appreciated, really by all the Stockholm syndrome thing, then maybe it's like, well, screw you then.
But
I'll do what I like.
But can we expect the taxpayer to pay for that?
No, I think that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the single mum in Llanelli who's struggling to get by isn't going to worry about inheritance tax on farming, is she?
No.
Because even though, however it's worked out now, it's still a damn sight better deal than the rest of society, isn't it?
And as much as we love to complain, it's a good life.
Yeah, it is. It's a great life.
Yeah.
Well, I've skived off today and I'm sat here with you in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's not all bad. And the other thing I've really enjoyed since being on this farm is selling direct from the farm.
Okay.
So we'll sell beef, pork, sausages and hogget and mutton direct. Don't do a huge amount, maybe 8 to 10 cattle a year.
Yeah.
20 sheep and 20 pigs.
Yeah.
It doesn't, this year, especially with commodity prices being so high, the opportunity cost is shaved off the margin off the direct selling, but it's so much fun.
Yeah. And is that just the contact with the people?
Contact with the people, the feedback, people actually being interested.
Yeah.
People then will come to the farm, have a chat. You build a bit of emotional equity, don't you?
Yeah.
People are more interested.
Yeah.
It got me thinking one day. I had a few people turn up and they came to the farm and they said, "Is it you just working here?" And I said, "Yeah, I give myself employee of the month every month." yeah, it's me. And they said, "Oh, I can remember this farm years ago. It must have had 10 or 12 staff." And I thought, yeah, they probably did, but things change, and and then it got me thinking. We make out that we don't have, as an industry, we don't have a voice anymore, but we've driven all the workforce away, the voters, haven't we?
Yeah. Yeah, people who are connected
worked
to
on the farm,
worked
in the cottages,
yeah,
would pretty much vote years ago as the boss told them to.
And the efficiency, the drive for efficiency, essentially,
it's absolute nonsense.
What's that mean, or what's that meant, is essentially it's just your labour cost per unit of production's gone down. Less people.
Yeah. Most metrics of efficiency are flawed. Yeah. But they're skewed towards whoever's creating those figures. So in agriculture, would you ever get up in the morning and say, right, I'm going to work out some efficiencies today? Yeah. No, what we do is that we get dictated to what these efficiencies are by either someone we sell to or someone we buy off. Yeah. We don't create those metrics.
No, and the parasites who sponsor a lot of the advice often push us and tell stories of efficiency that just mean more production. Yeah. And therefore more inputs.
Yeah, and more spend.
More spend.
Yeah.
And then the profits that we could make from the farms, instead of going into farming families, into small farms, they're going through those farms to businesses, corporations, machinery dealerships, and then those are all international. A lot of those are international businesses. Yeah. So that's money going out of the country.
Yeah. But you do change though as you get older, don't you? Yeah. In that we've all gotten in a farmer, haven't we? Yeah. We've all gotten in a farmer that wants to see grass at a certain height, doesn't want to see weeds, that wants to see the hedges trimmed, that wants the new tractor. We've all got that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
It's just that
to fight it.
Well, I don't know. It's. I feel like I've always got to have a project going on.
Yeah.
I've always got to have a project going on that I can focus on.
Yeah.
And maybe obsess over a little bit.
Mm.
Because when you simplify your farming, it's really careful you don't simplify yourself to a standstill.
Yeah.
And it's really important to have other projects going on, that even when you do simplify your farming and you think, do you know what? Having a few less animals on the land, taking that cost out, taking that stress out,
Yeah.
I feel a lot better for that. But I have to maybe go out to work to earn money, which is the ultimate form of diversification, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you don't have to invest anything.
But really sort of looked down upon by some people. It's almost seen as a failure, isn't it? And I've never looked at it that way, but you definitely hear and see that.
I had a brilliant group of farmers came on farm the other day for a farm walk, and we had an awesome afternoon chatting about stuff. And I was asked the question, if it wasn't for all the other things you're doing on the farm, which weren't livestock related, which was, you know, firewood for properties, you know, doing wood chip, whatever it might be. They said, what do you do? I said, I'd go out and get a job.
Yeah.
And I'd probably simplify the farming even more.
Yeah.
And they said, get a job? What would you do? And I said, I'd do the same as anyone else in society did.
Yeah.
Go out and get a job.
Yeah.
So in agriculture, do we see that as, what is that attitude? Is it, and don't get me wrong, these guys are awesome. They didn't have an attitude.
Yeah.
They questioned it, but I questioned them back saying, well, everyone has to get a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a bit of entitlement in farming now?
Well, 100 suckler cows, I reckon you can do that on 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a lot of people make that a full-time job. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, in terms of efficiencies, is like, if it's only 15 hours a week.
Effectiveness, not efficiency, effectiveness.
But if it's only 15 hours a week, then what else are we doing? Are we just turning up to our mate to go on a podcast, or it's like
good work if you can get it.
But there is something there, like you say, with the entitlement, is that, so how many, you either going to have 200 cows, like no one wants to be seen as, it is seen as a failure if you have to get off farm income, or that question that was asked.
Yeah.
There's something behind it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the farm's not actually, you're not making any money without all these other things.
Yeah.
So it's looking at that farm in terms of risk profile, and I think, well, if I bet the farm, borrowed a shitload of money, produced at the maximum intensity I could, but now I lose the farm, but for 10 years you look like you've got the best tractor in town.
Yeah.
There is that attitude, isn't there? And it's just, for me, the worry for me is that if interest rates now, we could be at the start of a financial crash. Who knows what's going to happen?
Anything could happen.
Anything can happen. Everyone's so much in debt.
We could have 200,000 tonne of Argentinian beef coming next week.
Yeah, exactly. It could just crash the price. So in terms of risk profile, family farms, if you're on 50, can you survive on 15% interest rates?
No.
And so if everyone's quite leveraged because they're following that model, again, the interest payments, it's all money out of town internationally, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was funny you say about Argentina. Like when I was there a couple of years ago for the Nuffield.
Yeah.
And I drove from Buenos Aires down to Mar del Plata, which was an 8-hour drive. And on both sides of the road for 8 hours solid was cattle. Just cattle for 8 hours. Now, sometimes you're driving around the English countryside and you struggle to see livestock these days.
Yeah.
You think, where's the stock?
Yeah.
8 hours solid of cattle. And at the time, their government was putting export tariffs so that if you exported beef as a rancher, you would get a tariff, so you get deducted. So they didn't, just to keep the food prices low in Argentina.
They had superinflation in the country.
Superinflation in the country. Needed to keep food prices low. 100% inflation. So the value of the money was halving every year.
Yeah.
And I went out, one of the ranchers took me out for dinner in a restaurant, and I was like, how do you cope with 100% 100% inflation. And he just said, look around. He says, like, the restaurant's full, everyone's smiling. And I was like, okay, well, how's that work? And he's like, well, if you borrow in Argentinian pesos, but you're selling in dollars, and your costs are in pesos.
It sort of writes itself a bit.
And it's, you're kind of doubling your money on that. So, but it just shows how if that Argentinian beef suddenly becomes available, I think the grass grows 12 months of the year.
Yeah.
They set stock. If they just managed the grazing and moved them once a week, they'd probably double production.
Yeah.
And so the potential, I think there's a big trade deal coming with America, with Argentina now. I'm sure Europe and UK will be next. So I don't think beef prices are where they are. So if you've got that high price, but you're, like you said earlier, it needs to be where it is, it might not be. And if your costs are high,
yeah,
it's a risk to the family farm. And then there's just quite a lot lining up at the moment, I think, in terms of the inheritance tax, which would be, if people get hit with that, they'll have to sell ground or something.
Yeah.
And then if with the high costs, if beef price drops from Argentinian imports or whatever, because no government is going to want expensive food.
Oh, no.
That's a good way to get out of power.
Food and energy, inflation, that's...
You want to lose an election.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, keeping your costs as low as possible.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fulfill that, like what you just said, having all those different enterprises, that's what keeps the farm afloat.
Yeah.
And keeps it low risk.
And I think as well, I've probably grown out of the addiction to activity of farming as well.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Still really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I still, because I'm quite a simple soul, I just like work.
But you can maybe replace it with chopping wood for the firewood.
Yeah. There's lots of things you can do, isn't there?
Yeah.
Go and stack shelves in Aldi at night, you have money, and you're back to work in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something we've talked a little bit about before as well. And I think I quite like this attitude is actually like, there's definitely been something in me in the past, whether it's a chip on shoulder, whatever it is, that because I was more of a organic or ecological type farming operation, having more acres made me feel like I was a bit more of a proper farmer.
Yeah.
And that was definitely in the back of my mind, even if it's subconscious somewhere, when I was taking ground on. Now we're over 1,000 acres with this, with that. We've just dropped a farm because it's that realization that actually what we're doing with our time.
Yeah.
And if I'm on the road a lot, like, can we do more with less? Like if I put that time to actually doing more with this small farm.
That's the big thing, is that time.
Yeah.
And what is the return on my time invested? And you think about that a lot more as you get older. And it's a lifestyle thing as well as a financial thing.
Yes.
In that, like,
yeah.
When myself and Toby were growing that business in the Cotswolds, it was the best fun ever. Like, me and Toby got on great. Like, we got a lot done. Brilliant people. There was a few things that helped us get going. It was low rents, input costs were cheaper, and the arable version. Yeah. But also, credit was cheap and energy was cheap.
Yeah.
Since interest rates went up and since Ukraine war, that's changed the landscape massively.
Banks are different now.
Yeah. Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we could get on, we could do something, borrow money, earn money, pay that money back. That grew the business a bit more. Do it again. Do you know what I mean? We could do that. Whereas when there was hardly any interest to pay back. Yeah. I wouldn't say it wasn't difficult, but you didn't have that nagging worry of, okay, this works at 0.25% over base. Yeah. Sure as shit wouldn't work at 5.5 or even 7.5.
Yeah.
And I do feel quite sorry for the young farmers today, in that maybe they'll never get the chance to do what we did back then.
Yeah.
And I really don't know how I'd start that business again now.
That's interesting.
With livestock prices, interest rates,
Yeah.
Costs, all right, revenues have gone up.
Yeah.
Land prices, cattle prices gone up, but I don't think I'd even get the start because the money would look too risky.
Yeah. Yeah, well, but I think there is an answer there, and that's kind of, you just have to go back to what people used to do.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that you couldn't just borrow money. You know, you go back far enough.
Yeah.
So what you needed was a cash flow business.
Yeah.
So that used to be eggs, dairy, pigs for new entrants, or chickens.
Yeah.
Because that gave you cash flow on
Yeah.
a regular basis, and so you could actually cash flow your way in. And then the partner to that, which was kind of how I built the business here, is that if you make a profit and you're trying to grow the business, you can't take money out of the farm. So that I had to have a job on the side. And then people would say, oh, you can only grow the business because you've got a job. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but I'm starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And then, so my living is paid for by my job.
Yeah.
And then if you can do this on the side to build scale, to build capital over time, you can get to the business. I think I dropped my job in, I think it was 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's like 16, 17 years of working on the side to build the business up to the point where about halfway through that process, I thought, well, if I just had another 2 or 3 days a week, or 2 days a week, I could make more money farming, and therefore I wouldn't need this full-time job. And then what happened was I decided to drop it before the money was there.
Yeah.
And then it didn't work.
Yeah.
So I learned...
Hard to replace the income then.
Couldn't replace the income.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way, and then you're using up the money that you've previously been using to grow the business.
Yeah.
So you're spending it. And so I then went back into full-time work, and then, or I did full part-time plus another business. And then that allowed me then to keep reinvesting the money until I knew the business was making enough profit to pay me a wage and make a profit to invest.
Yeah.
And until that point, I didn't jump. But again, that job on the side thing there is a little bit of stigma there.
Yeah, but you're still earning money away from the farm though on little stuff you do. So you still get income streams coming in.
I get, there's a bit of consultancy, if you call that, off farm, but it's kind of business related.
Yeah.
We're doing less of that. But most of what we do is the farming now.
Yeah.
We're actually now, like we've just talked about, but we are trying to transition back away to simplify. So we don't need to be as busy.
Yeah.
Because we don't necessarily want to it's not about just chasing a maximum. You know.
No, you'll make other people rich doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there was, and if on a farm not so long ago, someone asked me, "Oh, after what you've done, what would your advice be for the younger farmers now?" And I said, "I think it's really tough for them to actually get going and make a scalable business out of it at the minute. Things might change. I don't know. Maybe inheritance. Maybe in 25 years' time, we'll look back and we'll say the introduction of inheritance tax was the best thing ever for young farmers
because little bits of land came up.
Yeah, land, or now they've got a chance. And 25 years on, they're established.
Yeah.
But all I said was, just don't let anyone get rich out of your blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
You reckon the joint? It's his stuff, anyway. Don't matter. Yeah. Was don't let anyone get rich on your blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Because it's easy, isn't it, to increase production, increased cost, increased activity.
Yeah.
Without keeping an eye on time and money.
And then that kind of links back then to, I think it might be looking back and looking forward at the same time. But if we carry on the trajectory we are as an industry, like we're hearing about more and more 1,000 cow dairies, 2,000 cow dairies, 10,000, whatever. Tractors, automation. Are we even going to have people driving where are the tractor drivers going to go with automation? Like how far away? Are we 5, 10, 15 years from that?
I don't know. I imagine
robotics,
that technology is coming fast.
The lathes, little miniature robot things for weed control and stuff like. It's going to become more and more just a manager, less people in the countryside.
Yeah.
So rural communities, like what's our goal as rural people? Is it to be the most efficient, the biggest operation?
And the only people here.
Exactly, and lonely as fuck.
It's going to be quite lonely, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're driving 30 miles to the pub.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting to me, because it's like then you could apply this to economics as to the whole of society.
Yeah.
Is that like we've got an obesity crisis. It's not like we're short of food at the moment. And like how much more technology do we need? So when we're constantly aiming for efficiency, is that serving us? Is it serving our rural people and the people around us? And then something you've talked about is 30 acres.
Yeah.
30 acres and a bit of firewood.
And again, that comes back to me being quite a simple soul. And if we go into the winter and we got a shed full of dry firewood, we got a freezer full of meat and a bag of spuds, I feel quite rich.
Yeah.
I feel quite...
How much do we need?
Yeah, I feel quite comfortable.
Yeah.
And then gets you thinking, doesn't it? You say, well, how much land do you need to provide that? Because we talk about how we need a surplus to sell to run the business, isn't it? That's historically, that's always how farms worked.
Yeah.
But we're constantly hearing now there's no money in farming. No money in it. So I've thought for a long time that I think 30 to 50 acres is the perfect farm model, and it's got to be very people centric.
Yeah. A job on the side.
Yeah. But maybe there's quite a few people working on that 30 to 50 acres.
Yeah.
So it's producing a lot of food because it's growing veg.
Yeah.
And then you have the emotional equity of more and more people in rural areas.
Yeah.
Who then will vote for rural concerns.
Mm. Yeah.
Rather than farms getting bigger and bigger with less and less people, producing less and less, or spending more and more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not really efficient, is it?
No, and it's when we talk about progress or feeding people, if there's going to be automation, and everyone's talking about AI stealing everyone's jobs and all this sort of stuff. Well, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know enough about it.
I don't.
But meaningful work is something that's valuable to people, and actually growing food and growing your own food or food for your community. And some figure I picked out, I think it was from John Sutherland's book on self-sufficiency. But the Victorian cottage garden is somewhere between 15 and 40 tonnes per acre.
Yeah.
In Victorian times, pre-chemical farming.
Yeah.
And that old Japanese saying about, the best fertilizer being the gardener's shadow.
Yeah.
But like if we're growing 4 tonne of wheat to the acre in order to feed that to a commercial pheasant shoot across thousands of acres, like what actually are we doing? And if the trajectory is, if someone tell me I'm wrong, but if the trajectory is not less people farming, less people growing, automation, robotics, AI integration with farming, if that's not, I think that's coming somewhere one way or another. But what's an alternative that could still produce lots of food is small farms.
Small farms.
And then we got kids in the local school.
Yeah.
The post office doesn't close.
Yeah, the pub's open.
I'll
just throw that in there.
Well, we might have some more time.
Yeah.
We might see more people.
It might be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be a few more problems and a few more people about as well.
Yeah.
But it's still, and if that 50 acres ever failing on certain crops, then maybe the 50 acres next door doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's only next door.
And you can help each other out.
I talked to a few mates about this, and at the start they think I'm mad, and then when they message me on WhatsApp about something's happened, I'll just reply with 30 acres.
Yeah, what's really to me.
Yeah, because if you think about it, a lot of society's problems are solved.
Yeah.
If farms get smaller and more productive.
Yeah.
It doesn't suit the banks. It doesn't suit the big end of town.
Yeah.
It doesn't suit maybe someone who's ego-driven, who just wants all of that, or just wants to tell someone they've got all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it rewards.
But they can carry on.
The right people. Yeah.
That's fine. They carry on. But I really do think that smaller farm model where you have you have timber for energy,
Yeah.
you have grass, you have edible crops,
Yeah.
a lot of things in a small area.
Yeah.
There's nothing new about that.
No, I can't remember if it was Jeff Lawton or Bill Mollison said something like, you can solve the world's problems in a garden.
Yeah.
Well, a 30 acres is a bigger version of that. But it's also about, if you're sharing the land out a little bit more, you've got people who've got more buy-in to the country they live in,
Yeah.
and also a sense of place,
Yeah.
like where you're from, who your people are, they're the ones around you,
Yeah.
rather than just more and more isolated farmsteads farming more and more land. Because the education that you get on a farm, growing up on a farm, is so underrated. The fact that you just see the market in action, you see the impact of nature, and also the ability to deal with problems and crises that come up that you just have to face and get on with it,
Yeah.
and be resilient. That's the best education.
We become unnaturally hardened to that.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but it suits you well in other areas of life,
Massively so.
where people who don't have that, like plans just go to shit situation weekly, daily, then if plans change, that can really disrupt people. And so like that, just the way of living itself, I think we're in agreement.
Yeah. And I just think it'd be really, because a really nice way to live as well.
Yeah.
There was a webinar I listened to, and it was about field scale veg.
Yeah.
And about the growers were on there, and they were telling their story about field scale veg. And don't get me wrong, this wasn't, Lincolnshire field scale veg. This was people who were rotating their market garden of maybe an acre and a half or 2 acres around a farm.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I think there was one lad on there. He wasn't far from here.
Yeah.
I think he had a hectare.
Yeah.
And I think he said he was feeding 250 families.
Yeah.
I think
There is
right.
some figure
So
around
that got
small
me thinking,
farms.
right?
Yeah.
That got me thinking. If you had someone on your farm growing veg, that's 250 people you could sell beef, lamb and pork to as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you guarantee that margin.
Yeah.
Even when prices come down.
And when you come to tell the taxpayer as to what you do, then you say, well, actually, I am producing what you eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if Europe decided that we do become too difficult to trade with, and they say it's fine, we'll send a lot of our fresh produce elsewhere, we'd be pretty screwed, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Well, like Spain, but it's worse than that, isn't it? Like Spain can no longer produce the veg it did because all the soil's washed away.
Yeah.
Like Almira glass houses, and so now I think is it around the delta around Sierra Leone in Africa, where they are now building a new Almira glass houses for veg for Europe there, which will then all the soil will wash out to sea there, won't it? And then it'll be...
And that's a Western country doing that, I guess, is it?
Well,
that
corporations in there or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's not going to carry on forever, is it? And then you run out again. I just think for all sorts of reasons, if this climate stuff, if we need to not transport stuff all around the world, then, I mean, I think it's...
Animal protein's so important to us here, isn't it?
Yeah. Or maybe it can be. I don't see why I don't think we need to... Small farmers, there's a lot of arable acres at the moment that if you were smaller operations, they would have meat production on, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
So...
It's that specialisation of farming, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, growing... I just feed wheat...
It's a hideous race to the bottom, isn't it, when you think about it?
It's if when you actually really think where it's going... Like, because you kind of feel like in the industry there's this pride in agriculture. This is who we are. We do this difficult job, and it is. And some people criticise it, but it is family based. It's family farm based. you kind of need that sometimes. You need that support network around you to make it work quite often. But that future where we're going isn't that.
No.
And we'll lose that
if
we just follow that blindly.
Yeah.
But smaller farms and more of them.
30 acres.
30 acres. Maybe 50.
50, yeah. 20 acres of trees. Plenty of firewood.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's interesting. My nana, like growing up on this farm before, for various reasons, Dad had to sell most of it. But a 180 acre farm to my grandmother, when that was kind of a fairly smallish farm when she was towards the end of her life. But to her, we were big landowners at 180 acres. But that just was a reflection of the fact that, when she was in her 30s and 40s, most farms were 30, 40, 50, 70 acres. 70 was quite big. That was a reasonable sized, and then you only had the small farms and then the estates really.
Yeah.
But so it's just interesting how that has changed now, where reality is like 180 acres now is a really small farm.
Yeah.
You struggle to make a living off that if you just do it conventional.
So where's dairy farming going in all of this? Because bigger herds, bigger problems, bigger contracts.
Yeah.
Like I can just remember dairy farming when I was younger. There wasn't much dairy farming around us.
Yeah.
But there were several dairy farms milking 40, 50 cows.
Yeah.
It seemed a good job, it seemed a good way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, well
lots of smaller farms rather than
low inputs.
Yeah.
They didn't have 10,000 litres, but
no, good genetics.
They and they also had
or maybe you could
British
say
Friesians.
Maybe you could say the genetics are better now because they're producing more milk. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Certainly chased that one trait, isn't it? Like, don't get me wrong. I don't know much about dairy farming. Never done milk cows in New Zealand for a while, but never done it. But you could see how dairy farming is. When they can put more, when they can add 100 cows to a farm just by pouring more concrete.
Yeah.
To me, that.
Well, I think there's something there. Again, looking at that trajectory of where this goes, in terms of bigger and bigger dairy farms, because when you look at the intensive side of most production systems, like dairy farms, every 10 years, is it something like 15, 20%?
Yeah.
Drop out?
Yeah.
So what happens is there are some people who I've got the utmost respect for who do their dairy farms. They might have 800,000 cows, but they farm it immaculately.
Yeah.
Like they are so good at what they do, and they'll be there and they'll get bigger and they'll be fine, and they do a great job and they're a credit to the industry and what they do. Welfare's good. They're very careful on all of that stuff. Great. But then every 10 years, 15% of dairy farmers drop out, and then there's still the same number of cows, we're producing the same amount of milk, and you might look like, this is great, division of labour, we need less people to farm for us, and that's only going to happen more with automation, and it's already robots on farms milking, and that's already happening.
Did you see that photo on social media about the robots had a fight one night on a dairy farm? See it? And it was, I think they must have had two slurry hoovers.
Right.
And a food pusher upper.
I think I did see it.
And the two slurry hoovers looked like they were trying to push the the food pusher into the slurry pit. And the farmer, whoever did it, I think, did he make a video or something? It was like, bit of trouble in the night with the robots. Yeah. That was brilliant.
Yeah. But that's all someone's job.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And it's like, you can be kind of like a neo-Luddite, where the people who went and smashed up the threshing machines.
Yeah.
Because they were stealing jobs out of the farmland, out of rural communities. But it is what's happening, even in the hay job, where you now see, you've got a tractor, great big tractor, with rowing up on the front.
I've seen that.
And then they've got a baler and a wrapper
on
the back.
Yeah.
But the thing is, okay, you've got a bigger tractor, that costs more. But that's 3 operations now being done with 1 man.
Yeah.
That would have been 3 people.
And if that was me,
Yeah.
I'd probably wreck it all in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that direction of travel is only less people.
Yeah.
And what does that? And why are we farming if we care about rural? Is it just money?
Bean counting, isn't it?
Yeah. 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 So,
But you know, farming's got a lot of bills to pay, isn't it? So
yeah.
and there's lots of ways. Every farm is a different situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we all have different comparative and competitive advantages.
Yeah.
Now it might be that your comparative advantage is that you've got no land cost,
Yeah.
and then you also have a competitive advantage that maybe you're adding value to something. Well, you're really flying then, aren't you?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're the farmer who's paying rent or paying a big mortgage, and is chasing
And interest payments.
yeah, because the bank's interested in that first charge. You know, they're not interested in the farm profit. They're interested in turnover for that first charge.
Yeah.
Then that farmer has to chase that production, doesn't he?
Yeah. There's not a lot of choice in that.
No.
If once you're in it.
Once you're in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's probably that's more. Yeah, that must be tough.
Yeah.
Like I've been there in the past, like when we were farming avocado, it was all done off production.
You've got to farm your way out of the problem.
You farm your way out of the problem, and then try not to farm your way into another one.
Yeah, well, you either live or die by that.
Yeah,
don't you? Yeah.
So yeah, it's agriculture's in a quite strange place. And
Well, it's just so much change.
I think there's incredible opportunity out there.
Yeah.
Not sure what it is, but I think there's incredible opportunity out there. I just hope that the younger farmers the young, able, keen people do get a chance to drive the industry forward.
Just to crack
Who
on.
knows? Maybe inheritance tax is going to be the vehicle for that. We don't know, do we?
No.
It could be taking away subsidy, could be the vehicle for that.
Yeah, I think for me, the inheritance tax is too far of a step. I support it as a principle. So I'm not saying.
I don't. I think inheritance tax or death tax is a hideous thing for anyone to have to pay.
Yeah, I think above a certain level.
Yeah,
I don't mind as long as people can plan for
everyone
it.
in society. I think for a government to have a tax on someone's on point of death of someone, I think it's a hideous thing, regardless of what you do for a living.
But I think the reason I say that is before I get completely shot down by other people, but is because the industry's been in a place where you just said about how important it is to get young people coming in.
Yeah.
And what's happened is because the reliefs on inheritance tax on land give 100% relief, so you don't have to pay inheritance tax. People are holding on to the land till they die, till they're 90, whatever, 90, 100, still signing the checkbook. And there's a lot, and it's not a small number. There's a lot of people done that.
Because that's been the advice, isn't it?
That's been the advice.
Yeah.
And then there's 65-year-olds at retirement age that still haven't had a go on their own. They've not been given a go, and they're about to reach retirement age. And then we're wondering why farmers are getting older, and we're wondering, is there a problem of opportunity for youngsters coming in? So if inheritance tax was just the same as for everyone else, but you still had this like 7-year rule, where after 7 years of the gift it went away, then you're going to be thinking about gifting that at some time around 50, 55, I would have thought, which is then going to be bringing in 20 and 30-year-olds. You know, and I think like in corporate world, like I think McDonald's is looking for like an average age of employees of around about 31. Otherwise they're going to get stale. Yeah. So and that will just be done.
I can't work at McDonald's now.
You fuck, mate, you can't.
Bollocks, that's the retirement.
Can you not claim some sort of equality sort of representation?
I reckon I could.
Yeah.
Grandad McDonald.
Yeah, you could. But yeah, I think So I do think if that was in place, it would help give younger generations a shot earlier.
Oh, for sure.
And I think so. That's where I think it could work. But if they brought this in, they'd have to say, right, we're bringing this in, but it won't come into effect for 7-10 years.
Yeah.
And then that allows everyone to plan.
Yeah.
And it also means, but I think what they want to happen is for everyone to get caught out. So this is so that then stuff gets sold. They don't want to let people have the chance to pass it down. They don't want that continuity because they want to capture it before it gets passed. Because if 30-year-olds get it, they ain't going to give it away for a while.
Are we not? We're ignoring the huge elephant in the room here, aren't we?
What's that?
And that's the capital intensity of land values.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if a farm was worth 300,000 and not 3 million, would it be so much of an issue?
It wouldn't. And you look in France, what do?
Well, in France, we also got the double whammy in this country where you've got double funding of people of retirement age who are claiming taxpayers' money and farm subsidies plus state pension.
Yeah.
In France, you're not allowed to do that. You've got to choose one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So that makes people get out.
Yeah.
But also the local departments can put the two controls they have. Not every French department does it. If you look north of Paris, where it's all bloody maze and nothing else, they haven't done this. But certainly central southern France, the departments dictate how much land can be sold for.
Yeah.
There's usually a maximum.
Yeah.
That keeps investors out.
Yeah.
So BlackRock, whoever, they can't get capital growth, so they're not interested.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is they also have an interview or like
That's right, with the Marie.
Who's buying this?
Yeah.
And we'll decide whether that can happen. Same thing happens in Switzerland. And so some people wouldn't like that because it's too controlling of the local community or whatever. But it creates a bit of solidarity. Like if they say yes, you're in.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a little bit of hypocrisy in all this as well, isn't it?
What's that?
In that the land values are high, the farm values are high, but it was a great figure to borrow against.
Yeah.
But now it's a terrible figure to be taxed on.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have our cake and eat it, can we?
Yeah, I mean, some people, it's the increase in value has kept them afloat.
Yeah. Because
they've been able to continue increasing borrowing, which wasn't necessarily in their interests, but it's just kept them going.
Yeah.
And that's fine as long as money's cheap, but it might not be forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could do something with that, couldn't you?
Oh yeah.
You know, policy-wise, other than the policy direction is not aimed at solving any situation here.
No.
It's two things. It's, as far as I can see, it's two things: is a money grab, or an attempted money grab that doesn't seem to actually be bringing much in, and then a forced sale. And I wish it was like if these small patches of land got sold, that it was going to be young farmers getting on them. But it's
It'd be
not.
Nice, wouldn't it?
It's going to be developers, wind farms, solar farms, and then big corporate.
Yeah.
So that's the concern, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we got to finish more positive than this.
I think we've been pretty positive all the way through.
I think, yeah. Okay. What would you say, like young people coming in now? What would be your advice?
Keep your costs low and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't risk. It's not an environment to risk at the moment.
No.
It's not favourable to risk. It'll come.
It'll
come. It always does. There's always cycles.
Yeah.
But at the moment, keep your powder dry.
Yeah.
Value time, and generate wealth.
Yeah.
Don't buy things so you don't pay tax.
Yeah.
Unless it's a purchase that makes your life a lot easier, that buys you time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. Okay. Thank you very much, mate.
That's all right. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was a good chat.
It was good fun.
Yeah. Good. No, it's always good to see you, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. This was Call to the Land. You can like, subscribe, follow on the socials. We'll put all the links somewhere. Thank you for listening. Cheers. Good. Well done.
How long was that?